what the business is, and you already know that's not rhetorical. That's a real question. What the business is, and today the business is the core. So I reach out to this lady to see how we can get our core right. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do her no disservice. I'm gonna let her introduce herself. How you doing today?
I'm doing amazing.
That's
How
good.
you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. What's your name, young lady?
Noni Love is what everybody call me. Noni Love. Noni's my real name,
Okay.
and Love is an adopted name.
Okay. So where you from?
I'm from Atlanta, basically. I've been here since I was 3 months, so I feel like I'm from Atlanta.
Okay.
But I was born in Milwaukee.
I, okay. You've been back to Milwaukee, or you got roots there still?
Still got people there. I used to go back as a child for summers and winters, see Granny or whatnot. But as time grew on, I went there less and less.
Okay. So you when you came to Atlanta, what well they brought you to Atlanta? Were you in this area per se, or what? Where were you at first?
Well, like I said, I've been here since I was 3 months. My parents brought me here. They were doing some activist work. Actually, my parents are heavy in the community upliftment, Black Power movement, and they actually came to Mississippi, where my father was doing some time for some community upliftment work, basically, which a lot of times doing the right thing is illegal in this crazy world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but while waiting on my dad, we moved to Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah. He actually, yeah, he got transferred to a prison here, so we were here waiting on him. So that's kind of how I got here.
And Atlanta, East Point.
Yeah, I've always been on the south side. I grew up in Ben Hill, Camilton Road, that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, how did the core formulate?
Um. So
And what is the core?
the core is a total body salon and wellness spa. I would say it was formulated. I've always had an interest in health and wellness. My dad is a vegetarian, so that was kind of different from what everybody else was doing back when I was a kid. So it piqued my interest. And when I started going to school, I went to school to be a school teacher, English teacher. But in the summers, I would work with one of my dad's friends who was a traveling doctor, a holistic doctor, and a herbalist. His name is Dr. Kwaku Ando. He's since passed, but very, very well known brother. But I worked with him, and through just answering his phones, taking the messages from his clients about their ailments, their discomforts, or whatnot, and seeing what he would do for them over time, I got to remember or kind of like see what he was doing, and it made me want to study seriously about health and wellness and herbs and ways to treat people, indigenous holistic ways of treating people's illnesses. So I said, when I grow up, I'm going to make a holistic hospital is what my goal was. I wanted
Okay.
to make sure that all the traveling doctors in our neighborhood, and there were a few of them, and some of them are still around, but they would, they would not have to walk around and, do that. They would have a place where they can stay and, service the people. And we would have some place to go where no matter what's wrong with us, we can go to this one place and be healed holistically. So the core is where I've gotten so far with that, and I feel really good about the fact that it is a place that the community knows that they can come and get some holistic healing. We may not be a whole hospital with, enough rooms for every type of modality that there is, but like I said, we're still young.
Yeah, and you still growing.
For sure.
And so let's go back to the Black Power part, right? Because I think a lot of people get a real misconception when they hear that word in terminology if they're not familiar.
Yeah.
I think for proper clarification, from my understanding, and you can elaborate too, being somewhat involved with having a parent that was involved in that, it's really more equality more so than overthrow, because I think that's what people hear when they hear that. When you're really trying to get equal treatment just overall.
Yeah.
Is that a proper understanding, or what would you get from that? So that
Not, I would say that could be an understanding, but not even equal treatment so much, just to be left alone. You know what I'm saying?
left
To
alone
not
in what way?
to be left alone, to not be targeted, to not be oppressed, to not be, mistreated,
Okay.
not to be handled any type of way, you know, just the same way that African people, I don't think, have any handle on anybody else in the world. It's just that nobody should have a handle on us either. So, yeah, just freedom, total freedom.
Okay, no, I'd just like to get good clarification because I talk to different people and they have their own understanding of whatever that particular word mean to them.
Yeah,
So as we talk, I just wanted to get your understanding of it, and just what we're doing is education. So if
yeah.
you hear a term or you hear something and you're not familiar, you might think of it or be scared of it when it's really not to be scared of, but to be discussed, to
Right,
have an understanding of,
right.
So I was just,
And I think it can mean different things for the same person at different times. Because if you're talking about Black power in a political sense, that is one thing.
mhm.
But when there are people bleeding on the ground and you're talking about Black power, it means something else. So it can mean different things for different people and different things for the same person at different times. So,
Yeah, to me, me personally, I think it's equal treatment
hmm
all across the board. That's what I would take it to mean, more so than anything else. But I just like to hear what especially, saying that your dad was um, involved in the movement. So I wanted to
yeah.
hear what kind of, not necessarily conversation, but just what your definition might be on that. And I appreciate you sharing that part of it too as well.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you said that early when how you so eloquently discuss your passion of the core. But what's the core? What's the mission for the core? What would you say your mission is?
Is to offer holistic healing to the local community.
Okay.
Um, and on the flip side of that is also an entrepreneurial springboard for holistic practitioners. So a lot of the holistic practitioners are operating in spaces that may not be professional or, um, even doing things out of our home, and sometimes that's fine. Maybe our homes are cut up in such a way where we can have professional spaces, but
Hmm.
sometimes we don't want everybody at our homes, or sometimes we can have more concentration in an office space or something like that. So I just wanted to offer, on the flip side of the holistic services for the community, the spaces for practitioners to just come together and heal the community.
Yeah, and I think what you just said was correct. A lot of times you operate better when you're not at home,
Yeah.
because it seems like your mind is more free to do whatever it is that you're particularly doing. Where
Mm-hmm.
at home you might be concerned about my fridge making a no, just whatever the case may be, and it will take away from the concentration of the service that you're trying to provide.
Yeah.
One of the things I saw when checking on your website, you said you partner with the universe. What does that mean with you or mean to you?
um, I've got a really entrepreneurial spirit, and with that comes, if you're smart, with that comes an ability and a desire to partner with others, because no one can do it all. And although we all have, dynamic, ideas and things that we want to present to the world,
Fostering even.
getting these relationships, networking with people, and partnering with people will allow you to do a lot more, get a lot further, do things a lot faster, more powerful than just you could do it on your own. So I say I partner with the universe, and I'm thankful that the universe sends me exactly what I need when I need it, and sometimes we don't recognize what's being sent to us, or we rebel or don't take advantage of things that are being sent to us. But as long as you're still getting breath, you're gonna have other opportunities, and you can learn from, however you have handled those opportunities in the past. So yeah.
That's good. So in terms of the business, now we're gonna get into kind of what you provide and what your some of your core focuses. So you have the planning, organizing, project managing, human resource, production, marketing, promotion, transitioning, legacy, partnership, financing, and entrepreneurship, right? So can you speak to some of those, like the planning, in terms of the business? Is that a step by step? Is that, what would you say that part is?
I usually do a business consultation with a person who wants any of those levels of support for their business or business idea. And I got my master's in business administration in 2004 here in Atlanta, from AIU in Dunwoody. And I've never worked for corporate America with the business administration degree. I only just got it so that I could know what I was doing in my own business. And you learn a lot of stuff there. You also have to learn a lot of stuff hands on. So just putting those two together, I just took what I learned from my own education and my practice, and I advise people on which ways they can move in any of those different levels. So it's just really depending on the client, what they're needing, what type of business they have, what their passion is. Most people, when they come to me with a business plan, I want to know, or when they come to me with any kind of issue, I really want to know, especially financial, I want to know, what is your passion? Because if we can identify what your passion is, then we can design a way for you to profit off your passion. That way you won't be working ever in your life. You'll just be doing what you're passionate about doing, and you're being blessed or being financially supported based on you just doing what you were sent here to do. Most of the time, your passion is something that you do very well, something that you're really interested in, something that you probably were divinely guided to do. So we should honor those things that we're passionate about and try to figure out a way to make money off of them. And that's kind of where I come in. And sometimes people come to me and they don't know what they're passionate about. They know they want to work for themselves and they don't even have an idea of what to do. And I love those people the most, because you can really help them to formulate from the ground up, a way forward financially to secure themselves and generations to come.
Okay, and you say that was kind of, I was gonna say strange to me that you say that you welcome someone who don't have a true idea of what they're trying to do, and you can help kind of put that together and formalize it and kind of watch it grow. But is there any challenge with someone who's coming to you where you're trying to find their passion inside of them, where everybody has passion and drive and what they're into and what makes them happy, but obviously not all of it is going to make good business sense
That's right.
in terms of paying your bills, college, things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to at some point be realistic.
Mm-hmm.
So is there any kind of challenge with that side of it?
There's going to be challenges to everything. And yeah, but most of the people who are coming and paying money for a business consultation, they're going to have some idea of, what they want to do in business. And even if their passion is not directly something that you can make money off of, we can do something that's associated to that or in that same realm, in that same world. And that person will still be fed in their soul by doing something that's attached to their passion. So we'll figure out a way to, make the money is the most important thing, because you got to eat. We're living in a world where you can't just eat off of your passion alone. You
Right.
have to make it into a profitable situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was thinking it would be much more, I didn't want to say easier, but because transitioning you have there, can you kind of speak to transitioning? Because I would think that transitioning would kind of, it'd be much more easier if they had a concept of idea and they were really just coming to you to kind of help hone it, foster it, put it together, give them the step by
Mm-hmm.
step of how to go from that brain vision board to an actual business that makes sense
Mm-hmm.
strategically.
Yeah, well, transitioning is not for like a startup or a beginning business. Transitioning is for a business that is already established and is transitioning into something different or transitioning to a new owner, something like
Okay.
that. So a lot of us, we were just talking about the pivot during COVID. A
Okay.
lot of businesses had to transition from what
Okay.
they were before to, what they are now.
Mm.
So that's basically what I would help them to do.
Okay. Well, you sort of broached it a bit with COVID. So how did that kind of change what you were doing, and what kind of pivots did you have to end up doing?
Um, well, COVID was really interesting in a lot of ways. Um, I had not employees, but people who were renting out space, who during COVID, some of them wanted to still work, some of them did not. They're independent contractors, so they're renting out space. If they don't want to work, then they're just not going to, be here.
Right.
So there were those losses. And then there were people who got PPPs and different money situations, and then they want to buy this room and deck things out or whatever. And then as soon as their money runs out, they never really had any business practice at all. You know what I'm saying? So then, we had that situation. But on the good side, COVID really showed me who I was and who I had in the building, as far as the creativity, the dedication and loyalty, the grit, because there were times where there were no people on the streets. People weren't doing anything, and we did not really have online presence before COVID. So we had to hurry up and whip together online stores and stuff like that. We in here every day with no customers, so we spend our time building these online stores. My sister back here, Dana, I'm gonna have to shout out Anad Nail Studios online. She's got an online store for nail techs, not just for, she's a nail tech. So what will her online store be? You know what I'm saying? You have to be really creative to say, okay, well, I'm going to sell the nail techs. Because during COVID, everybody wanted to become nail techs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they had free time on their hands.
They could not get to the salon, and it's a really fun thing to do. I'm a nail tech, and it's a really fun thing to do, especially with the nail art and all this Cardi B bling and all this kind of stuff, right? So everybody wanted to be a nail tech, but not only the official licensed nail techs, but just for regular girls who are now self-taught nail techs, she's got this online store. So that's just one of the things that we did to pivot, but also just, making this into an event space for those people who wanted to have those small, intimate situations, because there was really nowhere to go out, and a lot of event halls and things were closed down. So we would have, usually you could have 80 people in here. So we cut it down to 10, and you could still have a little small dinner party. So we just, kind of rode the wave. And when people were ready to come back out, we took the numbers up, never again to 80, but at least 40, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But just trying to create a safe gathering opportunity. We don't want to be distanced from our people. We already separated enough, so we have to just, create safe, gathering situations. And I understand we can't just go back to the way we were, you know what I'm saying, and do all those kinds of things that we used to do before COVID. But as much as we can, we're just trying to get the people what they want and, stay in business.
Yes, I heard a lot of great things from that too. And we were talking about that earlier, that pivot is such a big word. It's like a buzzword nowadays. Mm-hmm. But it was always a business practice. It just it didn't have a word for it, so easily recognizable. Mm-hmm. But that's just part of being an entrepreneur. You try, and then it doesn't work. Then you try to, you pivot, as they say now. Right. But that's what it was. You were trying to find a way to still stay in business, stay successful. It's just called pivot, but you found different ways. And I was going to ask about the online aspect of it, but that became important, and you see how important the online presence is, because that's just another side of marketing your business or offering or being available in some way, shape, or form.
And I fought against social media so hard. I mean,
any particular reason that you want to speak on, or just not knowing it?
I'm a really shy person. You know what I'm saying? I don't talk a lot. Really, unless it's one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a really quiet person, so I just kind of I'm not the type of person that's gonna take pictures of my food and everywhere I'm going and doing all this kind of stuff that people do on social media, which is cute. I watch.
No, I don't do that too. I have never done that actually, but I don't knock people for doing it, because I understand some people are maybe chefs and they're trying to, I just figure you're doing what's for you, and it's not my food, so I didn't understand it. So
I watch it, but I'm not the one to do that. So I watch YouTube. I watch all these people taking pictures and all this stuff in my free time. That's my guilty pleasure.
Yeah, you're fly on the wall
and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. But I'm just not out there doing it. So
okay.
But I know that for business, it has to be done.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's my point. I've had to going ahead and get on there and promote, and you know what I'm saying. So you can't let somebody always speak for you, because I used to hide behind my event space, and let whoever's doing the party, well, people are going to come here anyway and they'll see my space, da, 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 da. But you still got to promote, so
No, you're 100% correct. I
got
did
to
the
speak for
same
yourself.
exact thing.
Hmm.
People would throw events, and I'd be like, okay, good, fantastic. Now I can just be over. But then people are like, well, you need to, so
Yes.
it's a good thing too, because you're coming outside of your comfort zone. You're building
Hmm.
and growing, and then a lot of other things come from that. So,
Hmm.
we're
Absolutely.
not here to be hermits. We're here to give back to the universe the gifts that was given to us. So
Absolutely.
we end up learning that side of it too. But speak to education, and because you have developing standards, curriculum design, instructional leadership, classroom management, and school culture. Do you want to speak on any of those individually or specific or anything like that?
So for independent private schools or for teachers, um, I can do consultations on any of those subjects.
Okay.
If they're needing help in their personal classroom, if they're in administration, they need it for their school, I can come and do workshops with the school. So I've taught English language arts, and I'm certified in reading K through 12 and English lit 6 through 12 for Georgia. And I've taught for Atlanta Public Schools and Fulton County. I started teaching in 2002, and I did like 8 years. Um, and I'm going to go back this year. I haven't chosen a specific position yet, but I'm going back this year just because I've been out for a while and I don't want to lose touch and be out for too long. Um,
So it's kind of like a continuing education thing with
well,
that
you
for
do.
you, or is it,
Well, I got my bachelor's in English lit from Morris Brown back in the day, and then I got my teaching certificate from Piedmont College out in Athens. I did get that Master's of Business Administration, but that didn't have anything to do with teaching. I just wanted to do that because I was an entrepreneur and I knew I wanted some letters and just background knowledge, some foundational knowledge, just to just jump out there and do it. And then I started my PhD at North Central University. So my PhD was in curriculum design and instructional leadership, and I did really well in my coursework. And I'm at all but dissertation, or ABD, at this point. So I finished all the coursework, and now it's time for my dissertation. And I finished that in 2018. And I did not finish at that time because I had a personal tragedy.
okay?
I lost my son to
I'm,
street violence in
I'm
2018,
sorry
and
to hear that.
thank you so much. So at that time, I stopped going to school, and I did try to go back once, but I decided to put it off again. So I'll be going back to finish that PhD as well.
Okay.
But with what I did learn throughout all of the coursework, I'm still able to advise um, private schools, or individual teachers about any of those matters, through a consultation.
Okay. Um, and cosmetology is something that you went to school for and learned, or you
Yeah.
end up honing that, and you.
Yeah, I actually did go to school. The first cosmetology situation that I went to school for was nail technology. So I used to get my nails done a lot in high school. I really, really love nails. And my nail tech was like, you should just go to school and do nails because you spend all your money on nails. So I was like, oh, okay, good idea. So I started doing an apprenticeship first. And a young lady who was doing my apprenticeship, I paid her money for this apprenticeship, and she just disappeared with my paperwork and everything. So I always tell young ladies, make sure you get copies of your paperwork, and you know what I'm saying, that you're dealing with a reputable person, number one, but get copies of your paperwork with these apprentices. But after that happened, then I had to go on to regular school because I was like, I'm not doing another apprenticeship. I'm gonna go to real school. So I did that, and what I learned is that there are certain things that you learn in school that are like, you're not going to learn this from an apprentice situation. And then there's certain things in an apprentice situation, you're just not going to learn it in school. So I feel really good that I had the chance to do both of them. And so I've been doing nails since like 1995 or something
Okay.
like that. So, and then throughout my nail career, I kept doing continuing learning courses, and so that's how I got into some of the other healing methods, body work, and things like that.
So you would definitely recommend, we in the electrical trade, we call it field hands knowledge and book knowledge. So I always tell my guys, especially my helper, you definitely want to get the hands-on knowledge where you can learn your tools and things like that. But schooling and gaining that information is very important as well. So I'm glad that you definitely spoke to that side of it, and the importance of that. So in terms of scheduling and things like that, how do you go about doing those things with the okay, what services are you currently back after COVID providing now? And did you have to change any and stop any?
I personally have not been doing services. I'm managing the space and just renting out the space, but there is different after COVID. There is just less movement out here after
Hmm.
COVID. Period. I mean, even though we see a lot of movement out here in the streets, there are still areas where there's like less movement, like massage. You know what I'm saying? There's still people who are like they don't want that type of contact. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So yeah, I can go to the mall, but I ain't having to actually touch anybody. But a massage is different. So
Yeah.
so we've had to change a few things, but the event space is still popping. We actually have an event tomorrow, an open mic, Atlanta Underground artists, open mic, and we still do events, pretty much regularly.
Okay.
So
So do you at all schedule any of the GED preps, the creative writing, the adult literacy, and things like that? If someone was still trying to reach out and get those type of services, and I see you have womb wellness. If you want to speak on that at all, or do you some of those kind of hands off, where it's more, I'm assuming, just literature and conversation type of service?
the GED programs and all those types of things, those are available by appointment. They're not scheduled events. The scheduled things, we do have two yoga teachers. Well, one is a yoga teacher and one is a capoeira teacher. So on Wednesday, 6 o'clock is the yoga, and um, 7 o'clock is the capoeira. So that happens, and then um, in the back, like I said, there's Dana who does the nails. Although
Hmm.
she has the online store, she does do nails and she teaches classes as well. And then we have
Did
another
you
sister.
ever say what she did on what was the online store encompassing of? So she was selling the actual
Yeah,
nails
she
and
sells
open a full fledged store.
she has everything. Like if you go to a nail supply store, not a beauty supply store, but a
Yeah.
nail supply store for nail techs to go get their fake plastic little nails and all that kind of stuff that they're going to build up to make look beautiful.
Hmm.
She has everything that they have and at a less price. She's amazing. Yeah. And
Okay.
she does classes like if you don't know how to do nail art very well, she can teach you all that kind of stuff. So, and then we
Okay.
have a young lady who does massage and also Reiki, and like I said, a young man who does imports. So if you're looking for like African artifacts and things like that, he's your guy.
Okay. So
Oh, but the womb wellness.
yeah, oh yeah.
So one of the certifications that I picked up along the way in my wellness journey or my practitioner's journey was Yoni Steam practitioner's certification. So I've been doing Yoni steaming for ever since I got the first place down in College Park.
Okay.
So that was like a while ago. So basically, the womb wellness starts, of course, with a thought. You know what I'm saying? To
Hmm.
make sure that you're protecting and nurturing your womb and not leaving it unprotected or misusing and abusing your womb. You know what I'm saying? And it's interesting that we talk about womb wellness right now when all this political stuff is going on about abortion. But I mean, I know everybody has their
Oh, views and
own views and everything, but it's an interesting topic. But with womb wellness, it's all about healing the womb,
Okay.
from trauma, and cleansing the womb and things like that. Also just exercising the womb, making sure that it's healthy and, the muscles are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So we do that here, and we also train. We also sell the pots, so we just make sure that, everybody has what they need. We sell the herbs so that you have what you need to have a well womb.
Okay. And I was speculating, but you call it the core because it's all one. The body, the mind, everything working in conjunction with each other. Is that kind of correct, or what would what would that?
Yeah, I when I started this started this company, it was at my house, and I think that I was looking for the word, and I went to my dad, and I was like, "What's a word that means like the center?" Because my dad has this community center, and we call it the center. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to copy him and be like the center. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted something that meant the center, like the heart of wellness. Because I didn't want people to think about the surface of wellness, somebody to just look well on the surface with their makeup and their plastic surgery, which I'm not saying anything against it, but just not surface wellness. But I want people to get to the core of their wellness, even below the skin, to your soul. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your soul to be well. And so that's where it came from.
Which is good, and I'm glad you said that too, because just like you said, you can look so good on the outside, but if the inside isn't healthy and happy, you're slowly whittling away on that look and that outer appearance that looks good.
Yeah, or what society has programmed us to say looks good. Because sometimes, like, I have some friends, and we're all different shapes and sizes or whatever. And like I said, I done turned into a big girl after COVID, but you know what I'm saying? I think I like it. So there are some of us in the group who had the mindset like, oh, because they were thin, that they were healthy, and that the other ones who were not thin were not healthy. And it's just not so. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be thin and very unhealthy, but society has us thinking like thin is a sign of being healthy. You know what I'm saying?
Stigma,
and so, no matter if you're thick or thin, thick like me or thin, then you just have to be healthy for whatever it is your body type is, for whatever it is your lifestyle is. You just got to be healthy, making sure you're eating lots of greens and fruits and, water and everything that you
kind
need
of
to do.
cleanse the body, flush the body.
Making sure that you're cleaning all the time on the inside, just like you clean on the outside,
Okay. So, did you always know you was here to be a service to the world, or is that something you fought end up honing now because you're so good at it?
I always knew I would be in service to the world. I came into this world into an activist family, so I don't know anything else but service. I did not know that I was serving this way.
Okay.
And so I'm thankful that it has my service has evolved into this. Is something that I'm passionate about, because sometimes when you're born into something that is your parents' passion, and you want to be as helpful as possible, because of course you want to make your parents proud, and you want to help them to finish what they started and all that. But maybe, just maybe, you came here with a whole nother situation on your heart and mind. You know what I'm saying? So I'm so thankful that I got a chance, because a lot of people don't get to know and live their passion and profit from their passion. I'm so thankful, and I'm thankful that I get to meet people every day and try to help them at least, taste it, so that they'll go and do the same thing, Yeah.
That's what's going to be my next question. What advice can you give someone struggling with being a servant, where they know they're supposed to be, or what have you? Because you said you got a chance to actually grow into it, and now you're so thankful that you're actually doing it. So,
well, for anybody struggling with being a servant, I would say the same thing I say to everybody. What's your passion?
Okay.
What's your passion? What do you want to do? What would you do if nobody even pays you? What would you do if you had all the money, and all the time and space and and tools or whatever you needed to do what you want to do? What would you do? And usually whatever answer that comes from that, I would try to make that into their work, not only their work, but their service. This is my work, but it's also my service. A lot of times when you're doing what you are sent here to do, it's not only for you, it's for the universe, it's for everybody. So that's just like, a lot of our work is service. That's just like a trash man, he gonna get paid, but look at what he's doing for us.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What is food for the journey?
So Food for the Journey is a food company that I started a while back, and at first it was catering, but now we are on Uber Eats, Grubhub, and DoorDash.
Okay.
And actually on Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub, we are the Hungry Vegan to Go.
Okay.
And basically, Food for the Journey was is the name of the company, and we thought of that name because we don't want to provide food that's going to slow you down, weigh you down, because we're on this journey called life. It's the journey that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And on this journey called life, we want to have food that's going to fuel us forward, have us, flying and just doing what we need to do. So it's all alkaline, vegan food. And basically, we got the um, ingredients for the menu from Dr. Sebi's alkaline food list. So if
Okay.
anybody is looking to like heal themselves with food, a very good place to start would be Google Dr. Sebi's alkaline food list and make that your grocery list. And no matter if you like pizza or spaghetti or this or that, just try to make it with the ingredients off the list.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a pizza fan.
Mm-hmm.
Thin crust,
But you can find
preferably.
you
Yeah.
some cauliflower crust. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to make your own pizza sauce, so there's no crazy stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, there's healthy ways to still have what you
Yeah,
like.
yeah, it is.
Okay. And you say if your core is well, everything is beautiful. That's kind of back to being healthy and happy on the inside.
Yeah, like starting with your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? And your behaviors, your actions before you even present to the world. All those things need to be well and in order for you to look good on the outside. But if your thoughts are negative and bad and poor and self-sabotaging and all that kind of stuff, is going to show on the outside. So if your core is well, you'll be beautiful on the outside. You don't have to worry about the surface stuff, makeup and all that kind of stuff. If your core is well, you're gonna be beautiful. So I want people to just focus on their core, their heart, their mind, their behaviors.
Okay. And is that in the same line as health healing, or is that?
Self healing, or self care and self healing.
Yeah.
And shout out to Anana Harris Paris. She actually got us Self Care Day in Atlanta and maybe South Carolina or some other places. But she wrote a book called Self Care Matters a couple of years ago and has really been one of the forerunners in the self care movement. She actually used to hold space here. And so I appreciate her for doing that and being such a rock star out there. But self care is just all about taking the time to pay attention to yourself because this world is hectic. It's rough out here. You know what I'm saying? And you need to be gentle with yourself. We beat ourselves up a lot, and we got to give ourselves a break because most people out here not going to. So it's just all about. And her book is actually a workbook, so it kind of takes you step by step through how you can check in with yourself and make sure you are right, and how you can, just be gentle with yourself moving forward and stuff.
That's a very good thing too, as well. And as long as I've known you, you've always been a very humble person. Energy's always humble, and you got that servant energy and everything like that. So it was very surprising for me to hear that you're saying you're so reserved because you have that servant spirit that you need to present to the world and give to the world. So I'm hoping that you overcame that and you're actually living that, or you're still fighting that. Is that a
No,
struggle daily?
I've learned that is a blessing.
Okay.
That it is a blessing because when you try to heal somebody that ain't come for it,
Okay.
you're not gonna get anywhere. So you got to sit back. You got to be humble, and you got to wait for people to come to you and be ready. Because if they don't come to you, they're not ready, and you're gonna be wasting your energy. And I want to preserve myself for those people who are ready and come to the space with a desire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else that we didn't speak to, or that you wanted that people to know about the core, wanted to know about Noni?
Well, we have a couple of vendors here. So that was the other thing. Like I said, I built the core for the traveling doctors, but also traveling vendors. There's a lot of people in Atlanta because we are a festival town. So there's always a Juneteenth festival, this festival, that festival. I know all these people, and I've been seeing them for years. Going around with their wares from this place to that place. Trying to sell their stuff. So I wanted to also create a space where they can house their wares, because it's not easy to get in some of these big department stores. I've got a lot of vendors here. We got crystals, we got purses and shoes, we got black seed oils and soaps and body products or whatnot. We also have this space for rent for birthday parties and baby showers and whatever kind of parties you'd like to throw. And for wellness practitioners, we actually have 2 offices still available for rent, so that they can, become part of the family of holistic healers at the space. Um, and that's about it. Yeah.
Okay, so tell the people about your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, where your store is located, and how to contact you to schedule some consultation, Noni.
So the store is right across the street from the East Point train station. It is 2857 Main Street, East Point. If I stood on the porch and threw a rock, I could hit East Point train station. We're that close. It's 2857 Main Street, East Point. The Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram is the core, TheCore, BEW. B like business, E like education, W like wellness. The core BEW. Website is thecorebew.com, and you guys can contact me, text, call me at 404-707-4357. And I appreciate you coming to talk to me.
I appreciate you taking time and allowing us to talk to you, Noni, because you, like I said, you always been humble, but you always give this great energy and provide a great service. So I just wanted to make sure that people come and support the core and take advantage of all of those good service that you do provide. So it's actually been our privilege to actually be here with you, Noni.
Oh,
Thank you so much. And if no one tells you enough, trust me, you're very appreciated, and that energy that you exude, the energy, we picking it up in the universe. So keep resonating it.
all right. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Noni. Appreciate you letting us ramble with you.